Alright, good morning, and here we go. Continuing on with our fly tying material kit from Hareline Dubbin. What's included in this kit is the top 20 fly patterns for the beginner, and this is number 19 in our book. Included in the kit is this accompanying book to match all the materials to tie the top 20 patterns. And working our way from the beginning towards the end, we are up to the Griffith Gnat. The Griffith Gnat, it actually represents a small cluster of gnats emerging. What we're going to need for this is the size 18 dry fly hook. We're going to be using that black 8/0 Veevus thread. Body will consist of Peacock Herl, and our hackle will be some Grizzly hen neck feather. So let's go ahead and slide on over to the bench and see if we can't tie a couple of these up. Now, being on the size 18 hook, I do have the camera zoomed in considerably, so keep that in mind as we move along here. So I already have my hook in the vise, and again, this is size 18, and for our thread we are using the 8/0 black. See how much closer and bigger everything has to be. So this is a teeny tiny little fly, and it represents we're going to start a little bit right behind the eye. The eye's length behind the eye represents a small cluster of gnats emerging. And if you ever been to the water like I was yesterday, oh, the gnats were terrible. I'll give that a nice close trim. Rest your scissors on your shank of the hook. That'll help you get a little bit closer for that nice tight trim. Super simple, super easy. Let's go ahead and continue our thread wraps towards the bend. Playing a little thread base. Let's pause for the cause right there. And we're going to tie in our hackle first. And our hackle is from this hen neck Grizzly hackle. Can't even barely fit all the words. We're zoomed in so much. But what we are doing is we're working our way all the way down towards the base. Right around here. I started looking for some smaller feathers, and here we are, a small little hackle feather. What we want to do is we want to work our way down towards the base. We're going to find that transition point where everything starts to go fuzzy and soft. We'll just trim that off nice and close, just like that. We'll leave it off with the high and tight. Go ahead and pinch the hackle, pointer finger and your thumb. Rest your scissors on your middle finger. And we can do a small little notch on either side of that stem, that quill. Just like that. See what we got going on there? That's how I do 99.99% of all my hackle. Okay, we're going to set this on the side, top side towards us, right? Let's do one soft wrap to capture that. A couple more wraps with increased tension. I'm just going to wrap forward, locking that in. Okay, there's our hackle just hanging off the back end. It's a nice looking thing. Alright, we'll pause right there. And we're going to get our body material. Body material will be our Peacock Herl. And I'm just going to take 3 strands. 1, 2, 3 strands of Peacock Herl. Book recommends 3 to 4. We're going to take the tips and put them tips forward. I see I got that sharp kink. That's going to lead me to believe that's going to be a very fragile point. So if you have any kinks in your peacock curl, you might want to avoid using those pieces. Alright, we'll tie this in tips forward. Work my thread towards the rear. And then I'll bring my thread forward again. Any of those loose tips, if they don't break off right away, take your scissors. Alright, let's park our thread up front. Maybe about a half an eye. Maybe an eye's length behind the eye. Alright. So, what I'm going to do, what I like to do is I like to twist my peacock curl. I'm going to twist it forward. And I'm going to palmer this from the rear to the front. Now, I'm going to lift this hackle feather up. I'm going to do one wrap behind it. Oh, look at that. Broke right off. Alright, so that's our opportunity to unwind, rewind, and try that again. Get all the way to where that peacock curl was tied in. We'll try it again. Tips forward. You know, honestly, that's why I like doing this as a live stream, because accidents and mistakes do happen, and I believe if this was just a regular edited instructional video, that might have got removed from the final cut. Alright, so we're going to try that again. We're going to twist those forward. Be very mindful around that tip of that hook. I'll lift this up, do my first wrap to the rear. There we go. Now we'll just take nice close touching wraps, working our way from the rear to the front. Twist that hackle or that peacock curl as we wrap forward, and that'll help keep it wrapped nice and tight to the shank of the hook. And be oh so mindful around that tip. The tip of that hook will break that peacock curl quick, fast, and in a hurry. Once we get past it, then we can really kind of start moving this bus along. Right up front, we'll stop our eye's length behind the eye. Aye. Hold that material up and to the right, towards the front. A few locking wraps behind, a couple wraps right in front. Let's go ahead and give that a nice close trim, just like that. Alright, synchronize your watches. It's hackle time. We're going to grab our hackle tip of our hackle feather with our hackle pliers. Just like so. Alright, we're going to wrap this forward. We're going to do one full wrap at the rear. That's going to break off. So we'll re-grab it. And this is that delicate balance of tension. And we're going to palmer this forward in this open spiral. Just be mindful around that tip of that hook. And I'm going to line up a mental line. I'm going to draw a mental line after I re-grab this. When I palmer forward, I'm just doing a couple wraps back here just to get it squared off. But as I wrap, I'm drawing a mental line, and I'm lining up the front of my feather with the front of my fly. And that'll help me maximize my wraps. Make sure everything's nice and evenly spaced out. It's almost like a small little mini willy bugger. Alright, we're up front. Let's go ahead and just secure that down. A couple wraps behind. I'm going to release that hackle pliers, get that out of the way. flaps in front. Let's go ahead and just trim off that tip while we're up here. And we'll make a small little tiny little head and finish with a little whip finish. 1, 2, 3. Nice and tight. Trim that off at the bottom. And we'll add a small little drop of the included Loon Outdoors water-based head cement. Nice big brush on applicator tip on this, so we're gonna come at it with our bodkin. Get one little drop on the end of your bodkin. And let it soak right in. That's a beautiful thing. Looks like we got just a little bit of head cement in the eye. Maybe we can clean it out with Peacock. Oh, not quite. Whatever barb that was, I got it. So that is the Griffith Gnat, which is actually represents a group, a little cluster of midges, or cluster of gnats. So let's go ahead and take that out of our vise, and we'll set this off to the side. And we'll reset and try and tie another one. Let's go ahead and get this hook in the vise. Take your time. This is not, I mean, just because it's a small fly doesn't mean it has to be a quick fly to tie. Again, this is the size 18 dry fly hook. Make sure that's in there nice and level. There we have it. 8/0 black. We'll start about an eye's length behind the eye. Eye. Nice and tight. Once that's secured, I'll trim off that tag end. Beautiful. Lay a little thread base front to rear. And we'll get our hackle. Again, we are using this hen neck Grizzly hackle, and we say we're using the neck, we're not kidding. We're going all the way down towards the base, all the way down at the bottom, and we're going to use the small feathers. I got one isolated out right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to find that transition point from the main barbs down to the fluff, down to the downies, which looks like it's right about there. Go ahead and do our, what I refer to it as the high and tight. See if I get a little bit extra leg right here just for this. See how we got that little notch in there? That's how we do it. That's how I do it, at least. Alright, we'll set this on the back end. One soft wrap to capture that. And a couple more wraps locking that down. I'm just going to wrap forward. And we're going to get our strong Peacock Herl. 1, 2, 3 strands I grab. You can grab 3 to 4. Me being the frugal man I am, I'm going to go with 3. But I'm going to make sure they're 3 good ones. There we go. tips. We'll line those up. We're going to face those forward. You can, I mean, with a nice big long Peacock Herl, you can tie it in almost anywhere towards the front. And we'll wrap towards the rear of the hook now. See what that did is that separated our fragile tips from our working end, and now we can just pinch and pull those off. Once our Herl is at the rear, we'll wrap our thread forward. And we'll park that an eye's length behind the eye. Say it with me now. Aye, aye. We'll carefully take our Peacock Herl and we're going to start twisting it forward. Forward direction. Nice and easy. I want to lift my... Oh, we'll start it. Here we go. We'll start it. And we'll do one wrap to the rear. One wrap behind that hackle. Then we can start wrapping forward. And as we wrap, we're going to continue to twist slightly. And by doing that twist, I think that adds a little bit of stability. And I believe it, in my opinion, it just kind of makes it lay down and fluffs out. I think it looks prettier. We just want to make sure we can take nice close touching wraps. Other options is you can use a thread and wrap it forward with a thread, but this seems to suffice for me. Alright, we're up front. We'll hold our material up and forward. I'll lock that down with a few wraps behind, nice and tight, a couple wraps in front. Lock that down. Nice close trim, bada boom, bada bing. And now we can synchronize those watches one last time for our Griffith Gnat. It's hackle time. Let's grab that hackle feather with our hackle pliers right at where the hackle tip, which may or may not break always. Alright, here we go. We're going to carefully palmer this forward. Get that around. Here we go. Nice and even. Oh, there it goes. I knew it would break. I'm only human. And that's only a feather. There we go. Careful around that tip. Avoid the tip of the hook. And we broke it again. We're getting our feathers getting a little bit shorter and shorter each time we break that off. So we're going to have to just really stretch this spiral out and get really sparse. As far forward as I can get this small little feather. I had the unfortunate event of breaking, but that's going to give us a little cluster. Let's go ahead and do the whip finish. Alright, it's not the prettiest, but it is a Griffith Gnat. I think given the time, I would probably strip this back down and try and tie it again. But we're making our demonstrations on a live stream today, so it is what it is. Let's add a little drop a head cement. Just a little bit to soak right in there, and that's going to go nowhere now. Alright, so there you have it. That was number 19. We'll conclude this video series here in just a little bit. There you have it. Griffith Gnat, size 18. That one is not the prettiest, but you know what? Dollars to donuts, it'll be pretty effective. And you know what? That's the thing, is these are beginner flies. These are very effective flies. They're very traditional, very typical, very popular flies, and they're that for a reason. So have fun practicing this one. It's again, we're zoomed in quite a bit. It's a size 18. Take your time and have fun with this one. It's a Griffith Gnat, and just to keep everything real and keep everything fun, we're going to do one more. We'll conclude with our final pattern for this video series of the Hareline Dubbin Fly Tying Kit Top 20 Patterns for the Beginners. With the Griffith, or not the Griffith, we just did the Griffith. This is the Black Gnat Dry Fly. Looks interesting. So stay tuned, and we'll be coming back here very shortly with another live stream concluding our top 20 pattern series with the Black Gnat Dry Fly. How about that? Alright, thanks for tuning in. Wish everybody to stay safe, stay healthy, happy tying, you betcha. Tight lines, peace.